So, will Donald Trump follow in the 647-year-old footsteps of Bartolomeo Prignano? No, he won't.
Jon Stewart just roasted MSNBC, and it wasn't subtle. With savage humor and surgical precision, he tore into their double standards, narrative-driven reporting, and faux outrage. The crowd was in stitches, but the silence from MSNBC, deafening. This wasn't just comedy, it was a brutal takedown dressed as a monologue. If MSNBC fires back, they might only dig themselves deeper.
See what you're doing to people, Trump? MSNBC's got to waste valuable airtime fact-checking your f***ing nonsense. Time they could have spent frowning, sighing, and rolling their eyes.
Jon Stewart lit up MSNBC, torching their non-stop spin, petty shots, and peak hypocrisy. And yes, it was absolute fire. We've got the receipts, and this takedown has more twists than an MSNBC panel. Buckle up.
President Trump shared an AI-generated image of himself depicted as the Pope on social media yesterday.
MSNBC just lost it, again. Trump posts a clearly fake AI-generated image of himself as the Pope. Obvious. Joke. And MSNBC reacts like it's Watergate meets Da Vinci Code. Suddenly it's a threat to democracy, the Vatican, and probably the ozone layer. Calm down. Jon Stewart wasn't having it. And his roast? Brutal, hilarious, and dead-on.
It's not the most presidential thing, but Trump and the Pope do share the same taste in interior design, so it's not the worst fit. And it's just a troll. It's not hurting anybody. I mean, Trump wasn't going to heaven anyway, so it's not like it's gonna... I'm not gonna get distracted by it. But he can't really be the Pope, can he? Can he be the Pope?
Of course, Trump can't be Pope. He's not Catholic, not clergy, and definitely not fluent in Latin. But that didn't stop MSNBC from spinning his AI-generated meme into a Vatican-level crisis. Suddenly, it's not a joke. It's a plot to hijack religion and hypnotize voters. Seriously? This isn't journalism. It's political fan fiction. But Jon Stewart wasn't buying the drama. With scalpel-sharp wit, he tore through the hysteria and left MSNBC exposed beneath its own self-righteous fog.
Last time a non-cardinal was pope was back in 1378, when the Italian Archbishop Bartolomeo Prignano, who had been a monk, was controversially chosen from outside of the College of Cardinals, and he became Pope Urban VI. So, will Donald Trump follow in the 647-year-old footsteps of Bartolomeo Prignano? No. He won't.
So what's the point of blowing this out of proportion? Even Trump knew it was a joke. He posted a meme, not a manifesto. But MSNBC treated it like a constitutional crisis. And here's the kicker. They knew it was satire. Still, they rolled out a melodramatic segment like it was trial evidence. Why? Because outrage gets ratings. Because dunking on an AI meme is easier than covering actual news. This isn't journalism, it's clickbait cosplay. Truth is, they miss Trump. But Jon Stewart didn't miss a beat. He ripped the mask off their fake moral panic and called it what it is: hypocrisy on full display.
You see what you're doing to people, Trump? MSNBC's got to waste valuable airtime fact-checking your f***ing nonsense. Time they could have spent frowning, sighing, and rolling their eyes.
MSNBC's Trump derangement syndrome is beyond recovery. It's terminal. Their obsession blinds them to the absurdity of their own coverage. Whether Trump's being serious, sarcastic, or just posting an AI meme, it's instantly spun as proof of some grand evil plot. And that's the real tragedy. They're more invested in Trump's failure than America's success. Patriotism? Tossed in the trunk. Resentment and ratings are driving now. They'd rather fuel division and invent outrage than admit Trump might have done something right. In the MSNBC echo chamber, narrative always trumps nuance, and facts are just speed bumps in the way. And it's not just Trump they twist. Case in point? Joe Scarborough straight up lied about AOC. Let's roll the tape.
More progressive than a lot of people. I also understand that she's one of the most articulate, exciting people in the Democratic field. She goes out with Bernie Sanders, and yeah, she just draws so many people. Very good, very effective in hearings. They need somebody young like AOC, and again, it's not about ideology. She can carry the message forward for a Democratic Party that really needs to reach out to younger Americans.
Yes, let's have a look at just how articulate and impressive AOC is, prepared to be dazzled by her rare genius.
Even as a waitress, if any of you all else have gone like completely mad,
it's like whatever, you know, and like or whatever, like just like it's like this what people are starting to see, at least in the occupation of Palestine.
You use the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
I think what I meant is like the settlements that are increasing in some of these areas and places where Palestinians are experiencing difficulty in access to their housing and homes.
Do you think you can expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also just, I am not the expert on geopolitics on this issue, you know?
Oh dear, that's AOC over the years. She really is the future.
Take MSNBC or Joe Scarborough seriously at your own risk. These people could turn the devil into a victim and a saint into a criminal in a single segment. They've perfected the art of narrative spin, masters of half-truths dressed as breaking news. And that's exactly why Jon Stewart keeps dragging them. He sees through the smug monologues, the selective outrage, the scripted drama. And unlike most of the media, he's not afraid to call it out, brutally, brilliantly, and with razor-sharp wit. Because this isn't journalism, it's perception management. But Stewart's not playing along. He's peeling back the curtain, exposing the act and reminding us that just because it's on TV doesn't mean it's true. In a world of spin doctors, Stewart's the one doing real surgery.
Now, Joe Scarborough has form for saying spectacularly stupid things. It's a requirement of all MSNBC anchors to say silly things or just lie to their audience. Remember when he said this not long before Joe Biden was forced to announce the end of his re-election campaign?
I've said it for years now. He's cogent. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. Intellectually, analytically, because he's been around for 50 years. Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
Best Biden ever, and F you if you can't handle the truth. Dear, dear.
These days, when Joe Scarborough says, "Trust me," I brace for a lie. The man could sell sand in a desert. Case in point, he swore up and down that Joe Biden was fit as a fiddle and totally sharp. A week later, Biden steps aside and the Democrats scramble. Scarborough didn't just miss it. He gaslit the nation. And let's not kid ourselves, he saw the signs. He just ignored them. Why? Because in the MSNBC echo chamber, narrative always outranks truth. Integrity's optional. Spin is standard. Worst part, they know exactly what they're doing. And they're betting you won't notice.
Now, Joe Scarborough was telling the dim-witted MSNBC audience not long after that Kamala had it in the bag. She was going to beat Trump.
When you start seeing numbers, real numbers, like what's going on in Georgia, suddenly you feel like telling Democrats that are bitching and moaning about what the Harris campaign's doing, hey, calm down. You know what? Victory is in sight in less than 3 weeks if you go out, work hard, and do your job. The opponent is imploding, and Harris is doing better than ever.
Victory is in sight. Sadly, it wasn't. It was a landslide loss that was in sight.
After years of spinning lies about Trump, when is MSNBC going to apologize? They've twisted the economy, distorted political narratives, and dressed up speculation as breaking news. And when they're caught, the walkbacks are buried in late-night tweets or vague, half-hearted statements. No real accountability, no real consequences. Just more smug monologues from a network that still calls itself the moral compass of journalism. It's not just dishonest, it's insulting.
What do you make of that he's just been a little less visible than I think a lot of people, Trump observers, expected he would be?
Yeah, well, reportedly he's been visible at nightclubs far more than he has been on the 7th floor of the Hoover building.
Oh, really? It wasn't long before we got this correction.
And now let's circle back to a segment from Friday's show. Frank Figliuzzi was on that morning during this hour discussing the work of administration officials. At the end of that segment, Figliuzzi said that FBI Director Kash Patel has reportedly been more visible at nightclubs than at his office at FBI headquarters. This was a misstatement. We have not verified that claim.
Jon Stewart ended the show with a brutal hammer drop. His message? If Trump is truly the existential threat you claim he is, a danger to democracy, the next Hitler, then you don't get to grab lunch with him and snap selfies. Stewart wasn't just calling out hypocrisy, he exposed the entire scam of performative outrage. You either believe Trump is a fascist, or you're just addicted to the drama and media attention pretending he brings. And Stewart? He's done pretending. He dragged MSNBC for what it really is, a network that cries wolf, spins headlines, and backpedals shamelessly, then expects a standing ovation. But now, thanks to Stewart, the mask is off. The double standards aren't hiding anymore. They're under a spotlight, and no amount of spin can cover that up.
And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask, why wouldn't we?
Because you said he was Hitler.
What about all the lies MSNBC has spread about Trump over the years? When are they going to apologize for that? They've been caught misrepresenting the economy, distorting political narratives, and pushing half-truths on major social issues. But actual retractions? Rare. And when they do issue a correction, it's buried in a late-night tweet or a vague blink-and-you-miss-it statement. They've pushed unverifiable claims, leaned on anonymous sources without accountability, and disguised speculation as breaking news. And the worst part? They've gotten away with it. No consequences, no accountability, no shame. Yet they still parade themselves as the moral compass of journalism. At this point, it's not just dishonest, it's downright insulting.